Hello and welcome to this edition of Arabic TV. I'm your host, Dina Ibrahim, and today I have the huge pleasure of being with Gamilah Abdelrahman Abdelhalim, who is from Sudan but has lived in the US now for over 14 years.
Yeah,
and so we don't generally get to speak to a lot of people from the Sudanese community, particularly women. So I'm delighted that you're here with me today. And so of the many things that we could talk about, I really wanted to focus today on raising children, because this is an issue that men and women in the Arab community in general, the Muslim community even larger than that, struggles with in terms of how to raise children with a sense of identity, and also helping those children assimilate into American culture as well. So I know you're the mother of 4 beautiful daughters, and 3 of them performed in the recent Arab Cultural Festival on October 2nd. So you must be very proud of them.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to talk to you today about the challenges of raising your children to also speak Arabic, and not just any Arabic, but your Arabic, Sudanese Arabic. And it's a very difficult thing to do, right? So parents struggle with, we'd like to raise our children speaking Arabic, but in practice, how do you do that?
Well, I think it starts at home. You have to speak with them at home in the language, and we made this the rule in the house. When we first came here, we realized that to keep the language alive and to help the children learn it and practice it, we have to speak Arabic at home. And I was confident that they will learn the English language eventually from school, from TV, because the influence around them was huge. So it was the challenge to make them stick with the language and speak it at home. So we made it a rule that if they speak at home all the time Arabic, or Sudanese Arabic, then they get rewarded. And we play Sudanese music in the car, in the radio stereo, or the cassette, play songs from Sudan. And we had like children's songs also from Sudan, and we practiced those with them at home. We taught them the alphabet, and then when they were at the age of learning, to read and write, my sisters were here also, so together we established a Sunday school. So we used to reserve a community room or like a room in the library, and just go every Sunday, 10 o'clock, and spend like 2 or 3 hours going through the alphabets, going through the songs and stories from Sudan, and learning about the geography, the history, the songs, the dances. So trying to make them connected to the culture, and not only hear about it, just practice it as well. And that's what helped kind of like keep it alive and help them also stay connected to it.
So you made it fun for them, in other words, because it's a lot of resistance.
Yes,
I remember trying to learn Arabic.
You make it fun for them, and also you make them feel proud that and special that they know a language that other people don't know or lost. And I even sometimes used to tell them, when they used to correct my English, like, "Mom, you don't say this word like this." I say, "Oh, okay, you don't say Arabic like this also." So
right.
It's like
it's
payback time,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you also have to make them proud of it and make them feel like we're special, we're unique, we have something to give, we have a culture that we're proud of, that we have to also keep and practice. So that's also part of making, because if you wait until they grow older, you will find a lot of resistance, and a lot of them will think, "Oh, it's not cool to speak in the language," but now even at school, they like to speak to each other in Arabic. When
it's their own secret code.
Yeah, and it's like it's fun, and they tell me sometimes, even if one of them talk to the other in Arabic, in English, they will say, "Talk in Arabic," so because they see the other people around them amazed and they asked them, what language are you speaking? Because even the Arabic language of Sudanese Arabic is different in
Right.
Yeah, nobody knows, and I mean, like, even like our features were mixed, you know, so a lot of people were like confused. Where are you from? Indian, Fijian, you know? So it's like, it's kind of like also exciting to make people like, you know, think and try
And
to
look
guess.
for it on the map.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're from Sudan. Oh, where's that? Then you start telling them and teaching them about your culture. And now at their school, for example, everybody knows these are the kids from Sudan. They went in and lived in Sudan for 1 year, and I meet their teachers or parents of other children at school or at events or even in the grocery store, and oh, you're the mom of Shari and Ladi or this or that, and they start telling me, yeah, I heard that they went to Sudan and they spent a lovely year there, and you know that, you know, so it's that's how you kind of like keep them enticed and excited and thinking that this is a fun thing to do and be proud of it.
Yeah, I think it's amazing because I know that it's a tremendous effort and it's a consistent effort. It's not like, okay, our New Year's resolution is every Sunday we're going to go and do Arabic school,
No,
and then
it
we'll
has
just
to be
do
an
that for a
everyday
year.
thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
years of sustained effort. Yeah?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's a lot of parents fall into this problem, mistake of waiting until the kids are older and they try to teach them or make them, you know, go back and visit the homeland, and then they see the differences between what they see here and there, and then they start to resist and see it as a place that's different and intolerable. On the contrary, when they go to Sudan, my kids, they know and they understand, yeah, there are differences, but the differences has their reasons, their basis, and they appreciate them and they understand them. And they cannot compare between like America and Sudan because the comparison is not even there, you know.
It's
and
not a fair one, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a fair
they're
one.
different
And they have to understand, yes, there are good things here and bad things here, and there are good things there and bad things there. So you just have to also always grasp what is good and make the best out of it, and, you know, learn from it, and, you know, try to negate or get rid of the bad things and move on. So I think that's the most important thing to do or to realize when you're raising kids in America, is to not to come here as someone who's, oh, I'm going to keep my culture and I'm going to just stay away from anything American. No, you have to kind of be able to absorb and what can I say? Like also make use of what is here. Also, there is a lot of good values and good things that you can learn here. And there are things that you come with also that they're not going to work here. So you have to learn how to get rid of that and work with what is best, and look at yourself and the people around you as we're all humans. We're all aspiring for the good of humanity and our children and the future of the generations to come. So that's the important thing to look at when you come here, is not to try to just live in a cocoon and oh, I'm going to keep my religion. And yeah, I do practice. I encourage my kids to keep their religion and their prayers and everything. But at the same time, I don't judge other people. So I tell them, you know, they're friends with people from different walks of life, from different religions, different backgrounds. We don't judge them. I mean, I think that's very important. And I think we're blessed that we came here and we had the chance also to realize our careers and our aspirations, and learn and live in peace and enjoy sense of freedom and democracy, even if some people think it's not a complete one. But compared to what we have back home, I mean, this is like a blessing for us. And I just don't like it when people start criticizing life here, and you know, it's not like home, and it's like. But I think you have to be fair. As long as you're living here in this country, you have to respect it, you have to live with it, and I consider it my home, just like Sudan, and I have lots of friends, I'm a member of so many community groups that are not even, you know, relates to Africa or Sudan, and PDA at schools, and I mean, I think it's very important to get involved. It will help you, and it will also help your children assimilate and live better.
Definitely. Has the extended family and the presence of a community helped in that respect?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's very important. I was blessed to have two of my sisters with me here. That's since one of them passed away and one went back to Sudan. But I think their existence here was very helpful to me. You cannot get this support because one of the things that we missed here is, back home, the family is very connected and very attached. Here, I mean, it's more of an individualistic society in some sense. So we were able to keep that family value, and my sisters and I were always there for each other. We lived very close. Even when I was thinking about buying a house, I was telling my husband, we have to buy within this zip code or area where my sister lived,
Right.
because that would makes a difference to me, And it's true, we help each other, taking the kids back to school, activities, if I'm stuck somewhere, I need a ride, they will come and pitch in and help me. I mean, it was very important. And also being here in one place, when our parents come and live, they always stay close to each other and to us. So it also helped us a lot.
Because it's much easier when it is a collective effort.
It's very important. I mean, like they say in Africa, it takes a village to raise a child.
It does.
And it's not only the family or only like the Sudanese community, the whole community. I live in a neighborhood that's really awesome, all the neighbors, they help each other, and we watch for each other. I mean, if anyone of us traveled, we look after the houses, if my children are staying home, my neighbor will come and spend the night with them. I had to travel in emergency for one time to Sudan, and my neighbor was coming and spending the night with my kids, their grandma. So
and your neighbor's not Sudanese, or
no, she's from India.
Yeah,
we have a very diverse terrace. We live in a very diverse neighborhood, and we're always there for each other, and we help each other. It's just like back home. If you need a pinch of salt, you go and ask for it.
That's great.
Yeah, if you have a recipe and you're missing one ingredient, you can go and ask, and they will give it to you, willingly and lovingly. And
well, that's wonderful to raise your children in that environment as well. And so even though they may not get that aspect of community from living in Sudan, but they still get it in that sense from living here in the Bay Area.
Yes. I think it's very important, and it's very important to reach out to other people. A lot of times people are waiting for you to come out and ask or get involved with them or visit them or share something, and then they will reciprocate or treat you the same. So that's you always have to take initiative and start it. Don't wait just for other people to approach you and get closer to you. So
you mentioned starting young with the children. How young is young?
As soon as they start talking, even as young as even before that. I mean, it's just like you have to. I would say maybe a year and a half, 2 years. That's the time you start talking to them in the language. And of course, as soon as you have your children, you always sing to them, bedtime songs or tell them bedtime stories and children rhymes. I always do that in Arabic, or use, my grandma's stories and songs and all this. And even my children now, they've learned it, and they sing it to their younger sister. So, I mean, that's how early it could start. And because it sticks and stays with them, and they remember it for a long time.
Right. And in your experience doing that, only speaking Arabic in the home has not led to any kind of developmental delay or something, or educational delay once they start going to school, right?
Absolutely not. No, my older daughter, when she started school, she was reading 2 grades beyond her grade level. We used to go to the library and borrow books in English, and she would read them, and she would always win the prize, and the free pizzas and all the prizes for the summer reading programs. And they were always doing good at school, honor students, and up to now, they're doing very well. My oldest now is in college, and the other ones are on the way. So I don't think it affects their education in any way. As a matter of fact, my youngest daughter now, she goes to a bilingual school. She's in a Spanish immersion program.
Wow.
So, and I don't agree with this thing that parents say, oh, children get confused when, they're learning more than one language. Absolutely not. I think children are capable of differentiating between the languages. If my 6-year-old now, she can tell me just from looking at the script, this is Chinese, this is Indian, this is Spanish, And she can read and write in Spanish very fluently now at age 6, and she's also learning Arabic, and she speaks Arabic at home with us. So I don't see a problem at all. On the contrary, I think it opens their horizons and it helps them learn better if they know another language, and because the language is a medium to the culture. So if you know the language, you know the culture better, and you get more close to it.
And you keep that up throughout, I mean, even as teenagers, when they tend to get just a little difficult, and then may not be as willing to speak Arabic at home. Did that continue?
We do. I must admit, I mean, as they grow older, I mean, especially with their peers and their friends, they tend to speak more in English. And
right.
Even at home, sometimes the sisters among each other, they tend to speak English more. But I'm not worried now. They're at a point now where they will not forget the language. You know, I mean, my this 16 and the oldest is 19. So, I mean, I don't think at this point. And if we ask them to talk in Arabic, they're able to switch immediately.
Right.
And I think that's when you figure out, oh, they're fluent enough to, or mix between English and Arabic, and switch between the two very fast. I mean, that tells you that they're fluent enough to not be able to forget it anymore. Because if not, then they will stutter, they will try to remember what word matches with this one.
Right.
But if they do this fast enough, then you're confident that they're not forgetting it.
And did you have the opportunity to take your children to Sudan to meet with your family, and then they were in an immersion situation then? Because
yes,
I asked that
yeah.
because I learned Arabic as a child and I understood every word, but I wouldn't speak it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it was very difficult to get me to speak because I knew I was going to make a mistake and I knew I was going to be, made fun of.
Yes.
And so I didn't. And even though comprehension is one thing, but getting them to interact in that language, and it was only when we went back home that I had to, because no one spoke English.
Yeah, exactly.
There were very few.
Yeah, we did that,
English.
And that's very important. If you can afford it and if you can do it, I mean, I think I do encourage everybody to take their kids back home and get them immersed in the language and in the culture, and meet the grandpas and the grandmas and listen to their stories, and I think it's very important. It doesn't have
to be every year, right?
No. At least,
because it's super expensive.
Whenever you can. Right now, we try to do it every 2 years, and I actually had this thing where I had when my kids, they go to high school, they spend the freshman year here, and then I send them 1 year to Sudan to spend the sophomore year there.
That's great.
So I call it like the national service or the culture immersion program.
Yes.
So, and they loved the experience, and at the beginning, some of them were, oh, we don't want to live there. I mean, but I told them, just go and try it, and if you don't like it, you can come back. And when they went there, and when the year was over, they actually wanted to stay more. And I told them, no, it's time to come back.
It's time to come back home. Wow, that's amazing.
And they benefited from it big time. I mean, they learned a lot of things that I was telling them about. They witnessed it firsthand. They've seen it. They've seen how people live there, how they practice their things, and the family connection. How people value each other. Their relations with their grandma, my mom and my dad, is just awesome right now.
Did they live with them when they were there?
Yeah, they lived with them. And it's very important. If you have that set up, I do encourage and I see some of my community members now, they're following suit, they're doing that right now. And they always call me and ask me about our experience and how we did it. And I tell them, your children will benefit from it, but you have to have a certain setup, because these children are raised in America also with a lot of things that are different, and a lot of things that they can find here, they might not find there, and vice versa. But they have to prepare them mentally and emotionally for the experience so that they can go through it without any challenges.
Right. How does that work, though? I mean, for viewers that may not be sure, did your children go to an English school that offered Arabic as well in Sudan? How do you go from an American educational institution to high school in an Arab country?
Yeah, I mean, the level of Arabic that my children, know or speak, yes, it is fluent, but it's not, because in Sudan, it's the language there, the focus on it is like really too much in the government schools or in the Arabic schools, but they did go to most of the schools there, the British system.
Yes.
So they learned the subjects in English, and they had Arabic as a subject, they had religion as a subject, and they had other subjects in Arabic as well as civics.
Like history
all of this is in English.
Okay.
They learned all of that in English, except for the religion in Arabic and civics, like what they call like Tarbiyya al-Wataniya or something like that. Yeah, so that's the 3 subjects were in Arabic. The rest were in English, which is fair for them, because you can't just take them from a completely English instruction system to just Arabic system. They won't survive it.
I think that's an excellent strategy. Did that not have an impact on the junior and senior years of high school back in the U.S.? Do you think it?
Not. I mean, I don't think it was a negative impact. I mean, like here in America, the first year was my older daughter. I myself, I wasn't aware of the American system and how the colleges, value like this subject or the other, and how they look at the transcripts and all of this, because for me also this is my first daughter going through the American system and going to college, so I was also learning a lot in the process. So I wasn't aware of the fact that there are certain things that you have to do early enough, and even my daughter wasn't aware of that. So we struggled a little bit, but then we made sure that with my other daughters we can avoid these situations by preparing early enough for their college credits and things like that.
I think it would also be a very big bonus on a college application.
It is actually, yeah. And also now they also have a language, because like they don't teach Arabic in the schools here, but they have a way of, if you get a credit by like an institute or a teacher who teaches Arabic, that you've spent enough years of Arabic, then you can also be considered as someone who has a second language and fluency in a second language. So it was also an added value to
definitely. Where did you get the educational materials to teach your children Arabic, besides you organized your own Sunday school pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Where do you get books, materials, even the music for the songs, the children's books? Where do you get that?
Well, from different places. The main source was from Sudan. I mean, like I had cassettes with songs, children's songs, and I would copy them and give them to them, and they would listen to them and come and perform them. And we even sometimes had to write like for because the school started with our own children, but then it grew, and more members of the community brought their children, and some of them were not fluent in Arabic or even didn't know any Arabic. So we used to write the songs in English, like Arabic, English.
Transliterated into English,
yeah. Even like write it like, the words in English, the Arabic words in English, so that they can learn it, and then after that we explain it to them. So we bring stuff from Sudan. I mean, we go to Arabic schools here and try to see what they're teaching. We go online, print alphabets, letters, and if anybody goes back home, we ask them to bring stuff with them. It was hard because I realized that there is not like teaching material as far as like puzzles or cubes or building
That's what I meant by educational materials. It's not just books.
It was very rare, and there was even the posters, like with the Arabic alphabet. We used to make this on our own because we couldn't find any resources here. After a while, when we started like finding people who go like to the Dubai or Sudan or whatever, they might bring us some stuff with them, but a lot of times it was like some of poor quality compared to the fancy printing that they see here in their books and all this. So it wasn't very encouraging to them. So we used to just like sometimes make our own, use computer graphics and print colored pictures with the letters, and that's how we made our material. But now it's getting better. Now there's more and more stuff coming out and available for Arabic teaching.
So the material that you've accumulated, have you found a way to share it with other families? If you're not using that,
we
for
do
very
actually,
young
children. And we donated the books to the. We have the Sudanese community have school in San Leandro every Sunday also, and we donated some of the material to them, and sometimes a lot of the parents who are wanting to form a class
That's
or something,
great.
they would come and ask us, and we also share with them the material and the experience.
Well, speaking of the Sudanese community, I am going to have to wrap it up because we're out of time. I wish we had more time. We could talk forever.
Okay.
If you want to learn more about the Sudanese community or want to get involved, you can go to SANCNET. That's SANCNET.org. SANCNET.org. And thank you very, very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And we're going to conclude this episode by talking. We're going to see a report from our field reporter Amal Hassan about the Arab Cultural Festival this past Sunday, October 2nd. It's one of the largest celebrations for the Arab Heritage Month. It's the 16th annual festival.
In San Francisco's Union Square, the Arab Cultural and Community Center hosted its 16th annual Arab Cultural Day. For the first time at this site, this bustling location attracted more people.
It's definitely a good change. You got a lot more people come out, a lot of different cultures, a lot of different ethnicities.
A colleague of mine told me about the festival and gave me one of those postcards, and I said, I can't resist a thing like this. I've got to go to this thing.
Selma Habib and the Moroccan band pleasantly entertained the audience.
I've been performing since I was 7 back in Palestine, since I was a little girl. I started dancing and then I moved into acting as well and then singing. But since I moved to the States 6 years ago, I started doing singing professionally.
The audience was so overjoyed, they broke out and danced in response to the music.
As you guys can see, this festival was a success. Not only targeted Arabs, but non-Arabs too. In San Francisco, Amal Hassan for the State of Events.